So, Thomas, you have over 30 years of experience in the world of finance, and you're also a Wall Street veteran. So, my first question, right off the bat, is how was your time over there? Is it similar to the way they depicted in movies?
Going back many years, I would say, back in the early days when I first started, it was kind of similar. In fact, it was. I'll tell a funny story later. But I was actually appeared in a documentary about the making of the movie Wall Street, the second part, and they interviewed a bunch of current Wall Streeters, and I can't remember what year it was. It was probably like 2005, and they asked a lot of these similar questions. So yeah, it was in the early days. It was similar. It was go-go times. There was a lot of craziness going on. Sometimes the movies make things bigger than they are, but in the case of Wall Street, they probably calmed it down a little bit. Actually, in the early days, anyway, when I first was in the business, and then obviously everything matures.
What were some of the things that were common then that's an absolute no-no right now?
When you're entertaining clients, there was really no limit. Now, that's completely gone. The entire industry, and this is why the industry's basically in decline, is being run by lawyers and compliance because of a lot of different reasons. So you can't do that same type of entertaining. You can't order $5,000 bottles of wine and spend $50,000 on a dinner with clients. That's impossible these days. You can't even have these extravagant events like they used to. We used to go to these conferences where they'd have I've seen Lady Gaga, and I've seen Katy Perry and all these people live at the small venues privately for conference. Those days are gone.
I wanted to ask you more about how you got to that position, because growing in your career requires a solid network of the right people, right? And so how did you go about building your network to reach where you were?
That's interesting because it's really just about creating, over the years, creating relationships, making the right moves at the right time.
Right.
Very rare back then did you see someone stay in the same company for a very long time. So the biggest move I made based on connections, and probably the most difficult move for anyone to make, and I was able to do it, was my transition from what we call the sell side, which is working for one of the large investment banks, to the buy side to work to become a portfolio manager hedge fund. That transition, I have to say, is almost impossible, what I did and back then, and I was able to accomplish it. It's a combination of being able to see what you want to do or know what you want to do, maybe take a step back, work your connections, and then take 10 steps forward. So